Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session for shopping addiction or shopping compulsion. And one of the things that, if you think about the survival of the human species, we needed to be rewarded for doing difficult things. So think of your ancestors, that if they found something valuable, then actually kind of hunting or gathering and turning that, maybe turning into clothing or turning into accommodation, that was difficult. And therefore there was a reward mechanism, and we call that dopamine. And dopamine is the happy hormone that makes you feel accomplished and rewarded. And the kind of things that we would have to kind of make or build or invest energy for, these days we can achieve a similar outcome by simply buying. So if you think of making an item of clothing, a few hundred years ago, that might take days or weeks to make that item of clothing. And now you can buy it in under 2 minutes online. So of course it has a dopamine hit, and anything that has instant gratification and instant feelings of pleasure can become addictive. And the client I was working with had almost a compulsion that if they felt bored or if they felt an empty feeling, they would end up shopping, and that might be online or it might be in stores, and they would do that, and they would spend quite often on things that they didn't even want, didn't even need, and ended up either throwing away or donating because it wasn't the kind of useful shopping that we all need to do. So in this, you're going to hear an element of pattern interrupts and reframes so that not all shopping is considered bad, that functional shopping, where you get things that you need and are really useful, that remains. And in fact, that can be more enjoyable. And mindful shopping, when you know what you want to spend, you want to do something nice for yourself, you really want to enjoy it, that's also good. We don't want to make shopping miserable. It's the same way as eating. Like mindful eating is amazing. Mindless eating, not so good. So this really focuses on boredom shopping, mindless shopping, the compulsive shopping. And what is designed to interrupt the pattern is to introduce this idea of discernment, that what can be great can be horrible depending on the reason for doing it. So one of the key things about spending money, you can look at money as stored energy, that all of the hours it took for you to create that money is stored in whatever that money is. So let's say that you earn $100 an hour, $200 an hour. If you've got $100, there's an hour of your energy stored in that currency. Now, go back a few hundred years, bartering was the main way of doing transactions, that actually you would trade your time or your products for someone else's. And it's useful to think all the way back to what money really is, so that if you're about to buy something that's $200 and you make $200 an hour, would you trade an hour of your time for that thing? And that helps to give you a framework. The other question is, do I need it? Is it actually going to give me any utility? Do I get value from that thing? And the value doesn't have to be functional value. It could be enjoyment. Are you really going to enjoy that thing? A great way of thinking about whatever you spend money is this almost utility per use. So how often are you going to use it? And that might be, you spend a lot on a nice pair of shoes, but if you're going to wear those shoes a lot, actually the cost per use is quite low than if you spent something cheaper but never used. So there's ways of framing it so it becomes either joyful or useful shopping decisions, and also linking into In hypnosis and therapy, we call it future pacing or pseudo orientation in time, is can you imagine actually doing something with whatever you're about to buy? And if you can, it's probably got utility. And if you can't, maybe it doesn't. And so many people buy things and they're sat there. You can probably even think of one thing right now. You've bought it, it's still in the bags, it's still got the label on, you've never used it because you just desired it without it being pleasurable, useful, and without thinking about the context you might actually use it. So this is designed to break mindless shopping. You can keep all of the fun shopping, keep all of the useful shopping. It's just the mindless shopping that ends up wasting money. That's what we're breaking here. Of course, like all of my sessions, it was created for an individual. Don't expect all of the suggestions to be relevant for you because I couldn't know who you were at the point of recording this. So if you feel like something bespoke and customized could be beneficial for you, there will be a link in the show notes where you can schedule a completely free consultation call to explore working with me. And then we actually do the sessions for you rather than you listening to someone else's recording. So if that appeals, check it out. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a wonderful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just notice a wonderful feeling that tension is dissolving. Feel it start to dissipate, evaporate, to feel that something is becoming nothing. And maybe you can experience the sensation of that evaporated tension leaving your body as you breathe out. Breathe in even more resourcefulness, deeper than you normally would, as you feel a lightness and that heaviness of any guilt, shame, or frustration. Feel it start to detach. Feel it melt away and leave your body. So as you breathe in, you feel lighter, freer, more in control. And as you exhale, feel that anything that is impeding the highest quality of life is just escaping your body. Give it permission to leave. And I want you to imagine your mind can be like a house. And I want you to imagine some old thoughts and ideas are in your mind like messy clutter in an otherwise minimalist house. And I wonder what habits, thoughts, and beliefs are clutter that has accumulated over years that simply isn't useful anymore. I want you to think of an early memory where buying something made you feel good. Maybe you had some pocket money, some money for a birthday or Christmas, and just remember that feeling of independence, a wonderful feeling of ordering something and opening something brand new. And I want you to feel that everyone loves to get something new. And that's fine, that's natural. But all that glitters is not gold. And I want you to start thinking, sometimes the real value is not what you say yes to, it's what you say no to. And those people with the highest standards are willing to say no to more of those things than they say yes. Maybe you can think of someone in a fine restaurant. Would they say yes to poor quality ingredients or food? I want you to feel that your standards are raising, that you are becoming more discerning with the purchases you make. I want you to imagine a future where you take pride in making the very best decisions as to what to spend your hard-earned money on. But it is the discernment that gives you the dopamine, not the act of purchasing something. Think of that area in your life where you take pride by saying no more often than saying yes. Sometimes your value is linked to those things that create scarcity, create value, create exclusivity, because they are less common. And once you found that area of your life that you take pride in your discernment, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to imagine how good it would feel if you felt better in not buying things than in buying things. They say a penny saved is a penny earned. You could feel good about your discernment. You could feel good about your minimalistic values. You could feel good at avoiding the hassle of having to deal with future clutter in advance. I want you to think of a time where you made a decision that avoided a future pitfall. And sometimes buying something feels like a good idea, but all it does is add something else you don't need to an environment that you would rather be clutter-free. And all you're doing is buying a problem to solve, rather than buying a solution. I want you to start thinking that shopping, like most things, is useful in a particular context. I I want you to think about buying a gift for someone that you love. Maybe it's a birthday, and you know they would love something. And therefore, when you find something you know they would enjoy, there is a utility to buying that thing. You need that thing. And the fact that they would enjoy it gives you joy. You need the thing, but the thing itself gives you pleasure, and it aligns with your value of love or contribution or recognition. I want you to get a sense that this kind of shopping, where it's either useful or genuinely enjoyable, or aligns with your mission or future, is exactly the kind of shopping to not just continue but enjoy even more. And if your unconscious is happy to do that, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to think about another form of shopping. Maybe the kind of shopping where you've earned money. There's a discretionary budget. You've earned it, you get to spend it. And therefore, I want you to think of this second form of shopping as mindful shopping. Not functional shopping, but mindful shopping. That the shopping becomes similar to enjoying a good quality meal or appreciating wonderful art. You can do it intentionally. You have the money, you spend the money, so therefore why not enjoy every part of the process? Choosing, buying, receiving, and then using. And I want you to feel that mindful shopping, so long as it links to money you can afford, again is exactly the shopping to keep. And if your unconscious agrees, let me know by nodding your head. In fact, there's only one type of shopping that could be useful to change, and that is mindless shopping. Emotional shopping. The shopping when you're bored, the shopping when you're stressed, when you're anxious, when you're angry, the shopping when you're on autopilot. And I want you to feel that every time you reduce the amount of mindless shopping, that feels infinitely better than the shopping itself. And I want you to think that there are so many ways to break that pattern. Sometimes just waiting. You could set yourself a rule that if you're shopping online, it goes in the shopping basket, but you order it the next day. If you still want it the next day, it's either because it would give you joy, or you need the thing, in which case it's either functional or mindful shopping. But if a day passes and you don't feel that you really need or want that thing, it's super easy not to buy it. And by not buying it, you would feel an incredible sense of discernment that you made the evaluation. You don't want it, need it, and you don't see it in your future, and therefore it isn't required. And if it isn't required, that money you were about to spend yesterday, you've saved today, and that makes you feel good. I want you to think of a recent time that you were mindlessly shopping. And when you can recall that memory, let me know by nodding your head. But I want you to observe the memory like you're looking at someone else. Those times where you were mindlessly shopping. Were you asking questions about whether you needed that thing? Were you thinking about the potential joy or utility you can get from it? Were you thinking about how you could actually use it and what you would use it for? Or were you just on autopilot? And if you were on autopilot, feel that going from mindless to mindful is the easiest thing in the world. Because all it requires is to notice something. So if you were online, clicking things, putting it in a basket, you could notice each item just by asking, do I need it? Will it give me joy? Do I see it in my future? How does this enhance the quality of my life? And if you can't come up with an answer that feels compelling, then you don't need it. And you don't want it. And therefore you will not buy it. Because you take more pride in your discernment than you could ever have from buying things you don't need or want. I want you to think of a budget, an amount that you would feel comfortable spending, and just decide that you will now spend that money mindfully and functionally. It has to be useful or joyful and align with your values, and if it doesn't meet the quality control test. It's not good enough or important enough for you, as you feel that your standards are doubling, that only half of what you've bought before you would now consider buying because you've raised your standards. You'd rather buy less but have better quality. You'd rather buy less often, but when you do buy, it's because it really positively affects your life. And if that feels like a desirable future, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to feel that if that empty feeling comes, a feeling that in the past would have triggered mindless shopping, I want you to feel so empowered that you can sit with the emptiness. That this isn't something you need to fix or numb. Feel that you can sit with the emptiness, but this time you label it peace and tranquility. Allow yourself to sit with that peace, that calmness and tranquility, and be open to wonderful insights from your intuition. And if it feels now that emptiness is not just not a problem, but now a desirable place, the kind of place that people seek out on the side of a Tibetan mountain. No emptiness, just a void of peace, and that peace will lead to inspiration and intuition. No need to shop, no need to buy, because you prefer the feeling of calm. Once your unconscious agrees that that could not only avoid mindless shopping, but also lead to a better connection between your conscious and unconscious, more inspiration, more ideas, epiphanies, insights. Let me know by nodding your head. I want you to get a sense of pride every time you could have bought something but don't. That feels more fulfilling than buying the thing, and the only exception to that are things you really need or things you really want and that align with your values, including joy. And once your unconscious feels that this compulsion, this habit, is now in your past and not in your future, and you feel empowered to be more discerning than ever before, let me know by nodding your head. As you feel it's time to return to the present moment. And in doing so, you take all of these wonderful resources with you, life-changing resources, giving you a feeling of being more in control, feeling that you're becoming a better role model, feeling that you can enhance the quality of your life through your discernment. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect fully into the present moment as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.